What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 275 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
I'm ready for NAIC, I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, you're not going, so you don't have to be.
Exactly. See, it all works out.
This is our pre-NAIC Prep episode. All the teams from... Trying to cover a lot of teams today and talk about some new stuff that's been happening in the meta. We've got the new VR team to talk about, which isn't really new. I'm gonna go out there and say this team's been floating around doing okay at some regionals. But this is Zacian's first big win, air quotes, of 2025. So that's nice.
That is neat. Very, very cool.
I'm trying to think I'm going to go find this team real fast because I saw it when we were looking at other events and I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but I saw something very similar to this one somewhere. Let me find it. Boop, 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 boop. And then Chenpao. Yeah. So I remember seeing it on camera. This Judy played it to a top 32 finish in Portland. Christopher Hahn played something similar to a top 32 finish in Portland, and then Keon Campbell, who won this event, won the VR tournament with it. I'll pull it up for us so we can get a look at it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keon Campbell won the VR tournament with this team. This is the team they brought to Portland. So like I said, I remembered seeing it a couple times here or there, and they made some slight adjustments, I think, since the time they had since the team in Portland. I think they were playing the Iron Hands version. Yeah. And what they ended up doing is they dropped the Iron Hands for Chenpao, which plays a lot better with your Zacian, your Urshifu, and your Roaring Moon. And Kyogre doesn't need the extra help. Iron Hands didn't really do a whole lot on the team.
Hands is really good on teams that have a way of setting terrain. That is my input.
It's not Hands isn't like a must-have terrain. Like, it was doing fine without having the Quark Drive active.
Correct. Yes.
And what you're doing now, Hands is a good check into, I'm going to eat the Electro Drive from Miraidon for my Kyogre. That kind of thing. And so, yeah. This like I said, this is kind of Swordfish variation's been running around for a couple weeks. I really like it though. It's got a lot of cool moving parts together. Roaring Moon being this booster Tailwind Mon. No Fake Out is a little interesting, but I think everything has Protect for that reason. So you're not like just dead to Fake Out all the time.
Carl, you lied. Not everything has Protect. Urshifu has D10.
It's a Protect move.
I'm getting semantic.
I'm about to say, if you go into Top Cut Explorer, they just lump all Protect moves together. So if you click onto Search by Protect, it just lumps all of it together.
Oh, that's actually really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so having everything having Protect means you're just like, you can play around the Fake Outs pretty well. You got good speed control in Roaring Moon. Sacred Swords on the Chenpao because we don't need the fighting coverage, I guess, on our Urshifu. This has become a common set. The Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, Taunt, Detect, just foregoing the close combat. Mostly because you're playing more bulk on your Urshifu Rapid Strikes now, and you don't want to take away from that.
Correct. Which I fully agree. And like, your alternative for fighting moves is like
outside of close combat, I think it's Drain Punch is your next best fighting type.
Do you get like low kick?
You get low kick technically, but low kick's variable, so it doesn't always do the same amount of damage to everything, and so
also true.
Low kick's good on like Iron Hands, where like you really aren't playing close combat, so you just play low kick for when it's 120, and you have Drain Punch on top of that. And that's why like Iron Hands gets away with it. Urshifu's not doing that. But yeah, it feels very reminiscent of like the style that we saw Gavin play and win in Portland with. It's kind of that same kind of vein where it's Kyogre and Second Water and Redirection and things like that. Gavin using Calyrex Ice instead of the Zacian, playing a slower, grindier game plan. The Leech Seed Calyrex Ice is kind of hit or miss right now in the format, I feel like. It's been kind of up and down as someone who's currently been playing with it.
Yeah, you you have been playing with it a lot, so that is your field of expertise. So I will defer to you when talking about this.
It feels like people have figured out how to play against it better.
Okay. Which also makes sense.
More pivot heavy, more like U-turns, parting shots, flip turns, things like that. More hard switches to just play around the Leech Seed. More grass types in the format to make sure you have a pivot for the Leech Seed coming in. Things of that nature. Those are a lot more common now. Like I think every team has at least a little bit more an Amoonguss or an Ogerpon now in some shape or fashion. Outside of the teams that are like the Leech Seed Calyrex Ice teams that don't really care all the time. This one, obviously, Amoonguss is such a good partner next to Kyogre and Calyrex Ice. You can't not play it. But yeah, these two, the VR team and this team, they both feel kind of similar in like effective like building styles. It was Kyogre plus physical attacker plus things that like my physical attacker, and then I've got two Mons that are just like opposite ends of the spectrum that can deal with whatever else.
I really like the Basculegion here. I don't think that's something we've seen a lot of in this format. Just like one Kyogre as like a whole, we haven't seen a whole lot of. As opposed to like where I originally thought this format was going to go, Kyogre is not nearly as dominant. And two, like when you have these Kyogres, I'm not really seeing like your rain abusers with them, and I think a big part of that is it's rain's not the best weather right now.
Yeah,
because obviously you have like Koraidon running around as well.
Yeah.
So it feels like it would be difficult to try to maintain your weather with Kyogre.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I think that like partly why we haven't seen it as much.
Yeah, the Weather Wars are. It's much harder for Kyogre to have a footing in the Weather Wars right now, mostly because you're outside of Water Spout. You're really relying on like Origin Pulse and Hydro Pump, which obviously low accuracy, not always 100%, causes problems. Whereas Koraidon just gets to run close combat, Flare Blitz, and all these other moves that is just like all always hit. It's not actually a fire type, so even if you take away the weather, you're not like weak to rain water. So it's a good thing there. There's bonuses to being a dragon fighting type that sets sun instead of like Groudon, where Groudon and Kyogre they're in that same speed tier all the time, so it's always a guess of who's faster, who's slower kind of thing. But yeah, Kyogre overall having a slower rollout than most of the other restrictions. Speaking of Sun, I'm going to talk about Jay's team because this is prototypical what prototypical Sun kind of looks like now. It's Koraidon, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Sun Abuser, and Chi-Yu. There's sometimes a special attacker that takes advantage of photosynthesis. Sometimes it's Fluttermane. This is Walking Wake. Brute Bonnet has kind of become a mainstay on the Sun teams as just like your Amoonguss that happens to check opposing Shadow Rider and Lunala for your Shadow Rider. And then,
man, I really like Brute Bonnet. I think I'm really glad that it's starting to actually like see some kind of usage.
Yeah.
Because like, what was it? It was Knoxville a couple years back. I played Brute Bonnet, and I'm just like, man, this thing is going to be so good. It's just like aggressive Amoonguss.
Yeah.
And then it just like wasn't.
It's Amoonguss
like,
that punches
like,
things.
it was like the worst one on that team.
That's unfortunate because I also was a big fan of Brute Bonnet. I played Brute Bonnet in the tail end of the first run of Reg G with Koraidon, and I'm like, man, this is nuts. You get to Sucker Punch Calyrex Shadow Rider, you get to Seed Bomb like any water types that threaten your Koraidon. Like, this is fantastic. How is this not being played more? And you can live like Glacial Lance from Ice Rider and crazy stuff like that. Yeah, I like Brute Bonnet. I'm glad to see more play. And then this Weezing, Weezing's become a very, very popular this like anti-synergy mon.
Poison gas. I feel like I comment on that literally every time it comes up. It's so weird, man.
So there's two worlds of thought here. You either play Willow and miss, or you play Poison Gas and just miss like one time, maybe.
Because it's what, 90%?
It's 90% and it hits both targets versus.
I did not know it hit both.
Yeah, it's a spread.
Very cool. Okay.
But it can miss both, so it's just like,
well.
Yeah. Plus,
how good would Willow be if it was 90% accurate?
If it was
that's it. Just if it was 90% accurate.
Yeah, just 90% accurate. It's already better. So that's usually the Willow's the other slot. Other than that slot, it's kind of hit whatever you want it to be. I personally like Willow. I'm not the biggest fan of Poison Gas. There's other teams playing Weezing with like Toxic Spikes and Stall stuff. It's fine. I think it's weaker. You usually see that with like the Dondozo variants of this team, where it's like instead of Walking Wake and Brute Bonnet, it's Dozo Geary in those last two slots. And you'll have like Weezing, Koraidon, Chi-Yu, Calyrex Shadow as a core, and then you drop two of them to bring in Dozo Geary, and Weezing like sets all its Toxic Spikes and Poison Gas and all that jazz, and it's weird. It's an effective way to just like get Dozo Geary in a good position. I think that's the much weaker version of this tile team. Dozo is still fine, but you have much better ways of dealing with Dozo in the double restricted format than back in like Reg A, B, C.
The dark times.
the pre-patch order up.
God, I forgot about that. That was miserable.
What else? This Aqua Jet's super neat. Lets you pick up Focus Sashes. Terra Water on Weezing Galar is for Urshifu. There's some roles of Urshifu if you lead Calyrex Shadow and Weezing Galar to try and take advantage of something. There's some roles of Surging Strikes that can like Oko you, so you just play Terra Water to play around that. Yeah, Sun Team feels pretty standard. This is kind of just these five are kind of just the norm. Well, I say five. Walking Wake's kind of in and out.
Also, one I'm very glad that's starting to see play.
The damage is still kind of meh.
When it was first released, I started playing a ton of singles because it was like the best.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing singles mon. Holy cow!
And so I'm just like, man, this thing, it's so good here. It has to be good when it gets legal. And then, like, it became legal and just did nothing. I'm just like, man. And, like, that's the thing is, like, you were playing it on Sun and Rain in singles.
Yeah.
Which is, like, man, it didn't matter. There was a team I played that was, like, you had Pelipper and Torkoal on it. So it's just like, man, am I going to go turbo fast or am I going to do 1,000,000%?
Yeah, like, am I going to play the Rain mode? Am I going to play the Sun mode? Like, which one? Yeah. You have...
That's like, the thing. I got to always play both because it's singles.
You get Hurricane, Flamethrower, Hydro Steam, Draco. As like literally is just the four for the full weather coverage. It's nuts.
Yes, my favorite weather move, Draco.
Draco is just big stab.
Yeah, 100%. That's all it needs to be.
But yeah.
Did they ever end up banning Walking Wake? I'm actually curious.
I could not tell you.
I'm looking.
I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention enough to that stuff.
Nope, it's still legal to this day.
Oh, neat. Look at that. Next up is CSR Zama. This is the Oogie Boogie Boogie Man. This is the scary one. It feels really hard to break this team when piloted well. It's got all the tools you could want in it: redirection, fake out, priority moves. It's got wide guard bulk. It's got spread damage. It's got setup. Like, it's got sleep and spore. Like the spore, you can technically burn with flare blitz. Like, there's just everything. This team has the perfect blend of everything, in my opinion. Like, this is the best form of this team, probably. I could not.
This version's really powerful, man.
It feels like this is the best version of this team. Like, if I wanted to play speed ties the entirety of NAIC and feel miserable about it, I'd probably play this team.
Just play 1 point slower and then you'll be fine.
Just know that I'm never going first? No.
Yes.
No, I'm never going to do that.
But then you always know.
But then you have to play scared because you need your Calyrex Shadow Rider to go first.
Play Focus Sash. It's not good, but play Focus Sash.
Yeah, like I said, like, this is in the hands of a very good pilot. This team feels almost impossible to beat.
Can't tell if things are breaking in my living room or if it's fireworks.
Neither sound good.
Well, it's not fireworks in my living room.
Oh. Be more specific next time. But yeah, like this
I knew what I meant.
This embodies like what perfect team building would be if you could do this. This is literally just like every tool you want on a team wrapped up in a nice little bow. If you plan on going to NAIC, you need to have a plan against this. Yeah.
What's the way to beat it, Carl? What's the plan?
Make sure you have a check into Zamazenta. Zamazenta, while not being that much damage on the surface, can take over games very quickly. A good ground type technically tears through this team fairly fast. Incineroar doesn't appreciate ground, and it never feels good to Terra your Incineroar when you have Calyrex Shadow and Zamazenta on your squad. Raging Bolt can't escape the ground weakness, so it's literally just going to eat it and probably go down. And then Zamazenta being able to go to Dragon, it helps. Sometimes Grass is an option to play around like Amoonguss and the Leech Seed Calyrex Ice, which is a big deal. Yeah. A good ground type takes care of most of these Pokemon. That's why the Chien-Pao is so important. But if you can take care of the Chien-Pao early and maintain good speed control, you can break your way through this team. This team is very much about getting you in a pin and getting Calyrex Shadow to plus 2.5, plus 3. Like, just that's the goal.
Yeah,
if you can prevent them from getting you in a pin, it makes their job much harder. Also, I'm glad everybody's playing Ice Spinner and no longer playing Icicle Crash. Means I won't get flinched.
I'm ready for them to make the switch this weekend.
If they switch to Icicle Crash, then my terrain's safe, so I'm also okay with that.
I'm ready for them to play both. Just to really spite specifically you.
Let's see here. Next up, this has become the like go-to Calyrex Ice Miraidon version. Playing like the Grimmsnarl and the bulky band Urshifu with the Assault Vest Incineroar Landorus combo. Landorus has quietly been making waves in this format as just like one of the better ground type options you can play. It pairs really well next to Miraidon, being a ground immunity that you can pivot into to prevent like Earth Power and other coverage moves into your Miraidon, but also checks as an electric immunity for your Urshifu or your Calyrex after you Terra Water or anything like that. It creates a good the Calyrex, Landorus, Urshifu, Miraidon makes a good kind of like defensive core. And then you can just slap on 2 support Pokemon in the end and call it a day.
Are most of them choice band Urshifu on these, or
On the Miraidon CIR version,
Mhm.
on this specific type, usually that's usually the case.
Gotcha.
So the idea behind this Urshifu is it's a bulky band set. There's almost no real speed investment in it. It's a lot of HP and defenses, and you set screens, and you just click surging strikes or close combat, and just clean up. It's a lot of damage. It adds up.
Yes, can
You thought
confirm.
just Mystic Water did damage before. Choice Band is gonna hurt. Choice Band hurts even like in the sun. It can actually like OHKO things pretty easily.
To be fair, I'm always a big fan of like choice band. It is something that like specifically on Urshifu I've always kind of been a fan of.
Yeah,
Just like I obviously the hyper offense guy likes to big damage.
Yeah.
Like, news at 11.
This team is very weak to fake out. So if you can get into a position where it's like double fake out pivots, it can be very hard for them to get an advantage. But if you this team can put its foot on the gas pretty quickly and go for the kill pretty quickly if it gets set up. If you can do a good job of pivoting around there and like not taking a ton of damage, it'll be it takes too long for them to actually KO through all your team, and they take too much damage in return. It's stalling out the screens is probably your best bet via the pivots and the fake out and things like that. The Rillaboom, Incineroar going back and forth and things like that get real hard for them to deal with occasionally. But yeah. The next two teams are kind of similar and kind of not. They're the Lunala Calm Mind setup stuff. This is where we start to get into pretty much all four of these next coming teams are these Calm Mind special attacking setup teams. They all kind of fit into the same team style build, but they all look slightly different. This one's the Miraidon version. This was Teotime's team from Bologna, playing the Hearthflame, Ogerpon, Incineroar, Rillaboom, like trio that we were commonly seeing with Terapagos. With like Terapagos CSR teams, and then they just swapped out the second redirector for Grimmsnarl because screens plays really well with Miraidon.
Yes, big fan of screens currently.
Lunala in and of itself, it's very hard to KO once it gets like a couple Calm Minds up. If it can keep its HP high enough, you have a hard time consistently keeping it out of Shadow Shield. That's kind of why I'm going to lump it in with the Terapagos teams when we get to them. Is they both kind of play the exact same way. Lunala is your main restricted. This is your main damage dealer, and your other restricted is there to kind of provide support / secondary damage.
It's there to draw the attention away from your. It's your scapegoat.
Yeah. That's why like this Choice Scarf Miraidon, specifically its Choice Scarf Snarl, Calyrex Shadow is a problem for Lunala. Even if you go to Terra, it can still eventually break through your Shadow Shield and do enough damage to where it's going to rack up pretty quickly before you can get Calm Mind set up. So having that super faster than Calyrex Snarl is really, really good. Having the redirection's important. There's teams that are playing Amoonguss instead of the Ogerpon, which are fine. Volcarona has appeared on these teams occasionally too as a different Rage Powdermon, being able to really punish like things like Zama Zenta and Zacian and things like that. Big physical attackers that Lunala can't always tank a hit from because your only Intimidate is really Incineroar. It's not like there's a second Intimidator pivoting around with it. But yeah, the next one is also from Bologna. This is the Koraidon version. Again, a lot of the same pieces, except you get to play a lot of the sun synergy things instead of the redirection and Grimmsnarl, you're playing like Flutter Mane for speed control, and Raging Bolt to just be this third restricted on your team. Again, it feels very similar but slightly different. The Flutter Mane's really, really cool next to Lunala. Sash Flutter Mane's really good. Who knew?
Yeah.
You don't even need the speed boost. Like, you can just be Sash and just be fine. Everything started to bulk out and slow down, so Flutter Mane being max speed is actually just means you're one of the fastest.
Guaranteed to be the fastest thing.
Yeah, like outside of Zacian and Calyrex Shadow, like, and maybe Chen Pao, like, you're going to be the fastest thing on the field. And then if you do have the Sun, you are the fastest thing on the field. So, but yeah, one of the other innovations that has kind of started to pop up for these Rillaboom sets is instead of Woodhammer, you're playing like drum beating for extra speed control. That's been super neat.
I know you've played with some?
Yes. I was testing out Lunala teams with the drum beating. Those two together is actually a nasty combo because max speed Rillaboom is 1 point faster than what you need to be to outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider.
How convenient.
So here's where it gets even better. All of those Pokemon that are like 149 Scarf to 223, when you hit them with drum beating, you technically will outspeed them after the fact.
I did not know that.
Because it'll round down. So it's super duper neat. But yeah, again, it's a lot of the same thing. Double pivot, fake out, damage control with Incineroar, Calm Mind Lunala setup. In this case, we have better damage tools, so we're not all in on Lunala in this team. We could be the Koraidon Sun team if Lunala goes down early. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the other Calm Mind setup Pokemon, Terapagos. Ro, who's not here today, has made it very, very well known that he is not a Terapagos fan. All four of these teams are in for the long haul, and if you get crit, you're just unlucky. So you just got to be lucky. That's the win con, is just be luckier than your opponent. This is Len's team from Portland. One of the big changes from previous Terapagos CSR teams to this one is most Calyrex Shadow Rider were like the Encore Disable kind of Scream Tail set. This one is Fast Pollen Puff Willow, which is really, really nice having those two tools on another Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Because certain matchups mean, like, you can't always bring a Mungus to every matchup. There's certain matchups where Mungus isn't good, but you still have the Pollen Puff. And then there's certain matchups where Incineroar goes down early, well, you still have the Will-O-Wisp because you still need it. Yes, the Encore Disable stuff is nasty, and it really gets lower quality players more often. But against higher quality players, it's much harder to catch them with that kind of stuff. So I like this change. I think this is a good change for this team. It makes your team, your bring four a little more fluid rather than just being, okay, I have to bring Terapagos, I have to bring Amoonguss because of healing, and then I have to bring Rillaboom Instant. Now I can bring Terapagos, I can bring Calyrex Shadow, Amoonguss, Rillaboom. I can leave Incineroar at home. They don't have that many physical attackers, but I still want the Willow. Or I don't need the Pollen. Or I don't need the Pollen Puff, the slow Pollen Puff on Amoonguss. I can have the fast Pollen Puff on Calyrex. Also, it lets you hit the Dark types. So you aren't as scared about that stuff, which is cool. This one's also playing Cornerstone Ogerpon. Sometimes this is Hearthflame, but it's whichever. I like Cornerstone a lot. Cornerstone's probably my favorite.
I really still like Firepon.
Firepon's still really good. I like the mask for Cornerstone a lot.
Firepon has fallen off somewhat.
I think it's still the most popular.
Really?
Yeah, not
I
by
am
much, but
genuinely
I
surprised
think
to
it's
hear that.
close. I think it's very close.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised to hear
Oh
that.
no, it has fallen off now. As the
Okay,
format,
I was about to say,
when I checked it 2 weeks ago, it was pretty close to even, and now it's about a 3% difference.
what's number one? Rock Bond?
Rock Pond, Ogre. It's because the most of the Hearth Flames are swapping to Wellspring.
In which, yeah.
When Kyogre's good, you want to play the Water Absorb mon.
Who knew?
Um, the last team I have pulled up for right now is the the Miraidon Terapagos team that we saw in Bologna. This is the Sinistcha, Iron Treads, Incineroar, plus whatever next to Terapagos, E-Seed, and Miraidon. This should be very familiar because this was the team I was battling at the when you joined the call. Um,
I was definitely paying attention
sure.
then. I wasn't dying eating rice spicy ramen.
Um, this team's neat. I think it's a cool innovation. It's a little more aggressive than it's a little more aggressive than the previous versions of Terapagos. This feels more in line with the Sun version of the Calm Mind Lunala, where you have like this Miraidon, Iron Treads, Iron Valiant kind of synergy stuff, and then you have Incin plus Grass type next to your Terapagos to help it out and whatnot. It's harder to play Rillaboom with Miraidon because you're overriding your terrain so much back and forth. But I think this team's
I
neat.
didn't realize that the treads was banded.
Yeah. So there's two types of treads. You could be Life Orb with Protect, and then you're playing Steel Roller, Steel Roller, High Horsepower, and I think Knockoff's usually your third move. And so that one usually plays Rillaboom next to it, so you can always have a terrain up for Steel Roller. And then the banned one, Ice Spinner and Knockoff are usually interchangeable. I like Ice Spinner a lot because it gives you like a way to remove terrain that isn't reliant on terrain being there all the time. Does that make sense? Steel Roller, I hate locking into Steel Roller.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that like if you click Steel Roller and lock into it, if you don't pick up the OHKO on whatever you were going into, you are probably doomed. Because then you're forced to pivot, and you better hope that your partner Pokemon can take out whatever was next to it. Because Iron Treads is not attacking this turn. I like the Terra Bug, though. Terra Bug's nice. I'm so glad Terra Bug's...
Terra Bug, you were kind of talking about that before we started talking, started recording as well. It's just like, it's there for an option for Zama.
Yeah. This team is very fighting weak, having 3 weaknesses in Terapagos, Incineroar, and Iron Treads. Obviously, Terapagos can't Terra away from that weakness. So it's important that your Rage Powder Mon is actually immune to Body Press, which is why Sinistcha gets the nod. That spot could be Volcarona if you really don't like Sinistcha, but Volcarona isn't foolproof into Body Press. You might get a burn, but I like the Strength Sap. I like the Shadow Ball as like a pseudo Calyrex Shadow assistance check. So I like Sinistcha a lot in this little trio. There's a lot to like about this team. It's very synergy based though, so once you get them kind of off kilter, you can pin them pretty easily and take out the entire team. You're also not locked into terroring Terapagos on this team like you are on other Terapagos. You have damage in other places, which is really, really good. The last one, Valiant. This is sometimes Screamtail, sometimes Urshifu, sometimes other things. I don't know which one I like the most. This is
okay.
It's kind of
talk me through it. What don't we? What do we like where,
So
basically?
Screamtail does a similar job to what the Calyrex Shadow Rider was doing on previous Terrapagos teams. Encore, etc., etc. It's fine. You'll get them into where they, like I said, it's that Encore disable lock. Sometimes you get them a lower ranked player will usually fall for it and then be stuck and pivot, and you can get them pinned with Terrapagos, etc. It's not as great into the higher skill players. Iron Valiant kind of does a similar thing, can do the disable stuff, which I think disables nice into a lot of these banded, scarfed, locked mons. Or if you want to just like catch the wide guard, you can disable the wide guard, which I think is important. My problem is I don't like that it's physical. I think I'd rather play the special, play the Moon Blast.
This mon could have been so good had they had like not a wasted stat, basically.
I mean,
like
you can play either or. That's the cool part of it. Like, there's the Moonblast variants are really good. The physical variants are also just as good. I just like the special variants more for me. Just because Incineroar is a popular Pokemon. Every Intimidate you take means that that's one less attack stat you have, and so you're not doing as much damage as you should be. And then Urshifu just kind of finishes out your Water, Fire, Grass trio. It's probably fine. I'm not over the moon about Urshifu on this team, but it does a job. Hit things really hard. It probably is that Mystic Water Surging Strikes Aqua Jet Taunt Detect set, if I had to imagine. I don't know why I'm guessing. I can go look it up real fast. I can tell you what it was.
We have the technology.
I can tell you what it was. I just gotta go find it. Miraidon with Terrapagos. Yep, Surgery Strikes Aqua Jet Taunt Detect. Which this is the other version of it, and this is one of the other versions. Like, the Sinistcha just changed. It's no longer doing the Strength Sap. It's now got Trick Room and Machagacha and Life Dew. The Iron Treads is no longer banded. High Horsepower Steel Roller. This one's playing Rock Tomb for speed control, which is scary when you think about it. It's just like, man, Rock Tomb is not 100% accurate, so if you need the speed drop, gotta be lucky. Like I said, these teams are all about just being luckier than your opponent.
Easy.
Just be luckier. Yeah. Were there any other teams that I really wanted to talk about? I don't remember. Was there any restricteds that we didn't talk about that we should talk about? Oh, I know. I remember one. I wanted to talk about this one. This is the adaptation, I'll call it, from Joe's Reg G team that he played a lot, where it was the Miraidon and the Iron Hands and the Volcarona and the Urshifu and the Farigiraf and then Ditto. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Reg I updated version. They swapped Ditto for Chenpao, and then they swapped obviously Urshifu for Zamazenta because why not? This is probably, I guess it's the best way to call it is probably the closest thing to another like perfect team building style of team that we have, where you have the fake out, priority, redirection sometimes. This Volcarona is not doing that. This Volcarona is all set up and all gas, and I love it. Speed control, damage mitigation, wide guard. Like, this is another one of those. It's just really good team building altogether. But again, just like the last one, a really good ground type just tears through this team very, very quickly. Iron Hands, Miraidon, Zamazenta all get eaten up by a well-placed Earth Power or Sandseer Storm or Earthquake or whatever. So you gotta definitely be mindful of that and play around it. That's why the Chenpao's here.
Yeah, I really like this team. It's very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
This team feels like I said. This is probably the second best pairing for Zamazenta. The unfortunate thing is the best pairing for Zamazenta is just so much better that this pairing just does not get off the ground very much.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate because this pairing is still very, very good in my opinion.
I could see myself playing something similar to this. I really don't like giraffe. I just don't, man.
So you almost have to play some kind of normal type,
which I think I'm fine with. I don't like giraffe. What other normal types do we have in this format that are like
Ursaluna and Porygon 2, I think. Which
PZ.
Nah. Oh, I want to go find the P2. Holy cow. Can I find that awesome Porygon 2?
I didn't know that Dodrio was in the game.
Yeah.
I straight up did not know that until right now.
Yeah.
If we need a redirector for it's there.
So this Porygon 2, for all those people who have been doing Porygon events, doing the Mightiest Mark of Shiny Honey Porygon 2, if you need a use for it, here you go. This is what they're doing for like checking Zamazenta sometimes.
Terra Flying, wild.
Yeah, so the idea behind the Terra Flying is you want a Terra type that resists body press but doesn't leave you dead to Calyrex Shadow Rider. You can't go Ghost because Ghost means you just die to Astral Barrage. So the next best Terra type was Flying. Flying also gives you an immunity to ground, while still letting you just check whatever grass types, Amoonguss, and things like that you want to check. It's super duper cool. I love that. I love seeing these random weird Porygon 2 sets and then trying to figure out what exactly they did. What exactly are we doing with this Porygon 2? Like, what is its role? And it is so cool.
I also just remembered that where'd it go? Toucane's in the game.
Yep, we got Toucane. Dodrio and Toucane both came through the Blueberry Academy. Yeah,
which explains why I didn't know that because I haven't.
I'm about to say I don't think you played through those yet.
Literally haven't touched them.
You haven't even gotten the best parts of those games: the Raging Bolt and the Gouging Fire.
So, I haven't talked about it like publicly yet. I'm working on a dev team for a ROM hack. And one of the things we were talking about today was different like potential for like different gym leaders and stuff. And one of them was brought up as one of the girls from the Blueberry Academy.
Can I share it? Is that okay to share?
What?
The team.
Oh no, that's the team is not like finalized or anything.
I meant while we're talking about it, can I?
Yeah, okay. yeah. By all means.
Okay, cool.
So we were talking about
because this is some heat, man. Literally,
dude, it's so
literally
close.
And figuratively, it's heat.
So, the last room of Magma Hideout, I got put in charge of like working on like the Team Aqua and Team Magma sections of the game. So I said, I'm like, hey, the last room of Magma Hideout, I want to be in Perma Sun because you're in the same room as Groudon.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then
right?
the Maxi fight, you're sitting literally right next to Groudon, so it makes sense that it's in Desolate Land as opposed to everything else being in just Sun.
Yeah, there's literal lava right in front of you. Why would it not be just unbearably hot?
So I'm not entirely sold on the King Gambit here, just because this is doubles and like the baiting, like bringing out King Gambit early means that Supreme Overlord's not going to be as good. So I might save that set. Plus, it's in Sun, so like you don't really particularly want to Steel type there.
Yeah, but that is a clever thought of just being like, I'm going to punch you after you KO'd everything.
Yes. I love this Terra Electric Venusaur.
I was gonna ask, why Terra Electric? Walk me through that.
So, the idea is that like if you're Terra Electric, the player is going to want to switch into like a ground type to threaten you for like super effective damage, which then they just get got by super effective Solar Beam.
Yeah, I was about to say you could also probably go with Oh goodness, I had other Terra types in mind that could be beneficial, but fire. I guess Terra Fire there also works in a similar fashion.
Yeah,
And
I
then you get to
figured
catch.
Terra Fire kind of made the team like a little too one dimensional. Between Gouging Fire, Volcarona, Houndoom, and Venusaur all being Terra Fire. Then,
But it's also
granted,
Maxi.
yes, granted, we are only like we there's only one Mega, one Terra per fight, and obviously they can't be the same Mon.
Yeah.
So
Also, loses branding points. It's supposed to be Mega Camerupt, not Mega Houndoom, sir.
So I was working on that today too. I think Houndoom fits a lot, especially because it is solar power as Mega Houndoom.
Yeah.
Which so the unnerve that's listed here is for regular Houndoom.
Yeah.
But when it turns Mega, it gets solar power. So just like, the dark type for the evil team, that's also Sun Abuser. Like it kind of all like makes sense why it's Houndoom.
But Camerupt.
I'm not gonna say that Maxi isn't gonna have a Camerupt in one of his other fights.
Okay, good. You better. Camerupt is literally the mascot.
The Gouging Fire is a Emerald Kaizo callback because in Magma Hideout, Maxi has an Entei.
Oh, that's clever.
And the Venusaur, it having double team, is a reference to Blue Kaizo.
Yeah, I kind of figured that one.
So, like, there's a lot of like really cool things being able to like actually design stuff on your own and like being able to like do things like this, and just like having knowledge of these other games really allows me to like be influenced and also like grow on them.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously, like, Emerald Kaizo, you're not fighting, like, Gouging Fires. But, like, it makes sense thematically here for Maxi to have a Gouging Fire. Like, especially when we're restricting it to legends really being only seen once. Like, a trainer only has, like, a legend, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see, like, Rayquaza multiple times because there's only one Rayquaza, right? So canonically, there's only one of these legends, so why would there be more than one trainer with them?
Exactly. They only give you one in any of the mainline games anyway, so.
Exactly.
But you can.
It doesn't make sense that Rayquaza is on top of Sky Pillar and in some cave in I was gonna say Paldea, but that's not right. Galar.
Yeah.
Canonically, that just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
Pokemon logic is weird, man.
Yes, it is. But yeah.
Yeah, we're like really deep in development on it, and I'm really, really excited for it. I have play tested some of it up to like Watson, and I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. There's a lot of like ideas and everything here. And then we actually started like a dev team and everything for it, and it's like, all right, so we're basically scratching everything and restart, and like not actually, but for there's a good chunk where we're just like, all right, and what do we keep here? What do we like rework?
That's, as someone who's done that in like projects and whatnot for like school, just having to scrap anything and just start over is always just nerve-wracking.
And granted, there is a lot that like we are keeping, kind of reworking like some of the story, reworking like characters and stuff. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited to see the team's vision as to like where we're going to end up.
Well, that'll be very neat.
And more importantly, like I have been wanting to like design and like build a ROM hack for years. Like this has always been something that I've wanted to do, and to be able to do so with like the decomp packages and stuff that are available now, you truly do need to be able to code.
Yeah,
and that's just not something that is in my wheelhouse whatsoever.
I can do that.
So having someone who can code, and I just get to like give them team ideas and like story ideas.
You get to be
the
creative lead, whereas you're not actually having to actually code anything.
And granted, I'm not actually like true creatively.
No, but
I do have like
you're part of the creative
freedom
you're
to
part
do
of the
things
creative
like
team.
I want.
Your creator team, which is fine.
There's a fight that I was working on the other day where I gave the enemy a Choice Scarf Stench Skunk Tank.
That's hilarious.
With Fury Swipes.
That's hilarious.
That's it. That's all it has. It has Fury Swipes and Stench.
That's great.
Good luck.
That's fantastic. So whose turn is it to draw? Is it mine?
It is yours, because I drew Kyurem last week. Not Kyurem, Reshiram.
Awesome.
Random number generator.
Let me...
How many Pokemon are there now? Like...
It's like...
1010?
It's like...
1011?
It's 1,000 plus. I don't remember off the top of my head.
How many Pokemon are there? 25.
Just 25?
1025.
Oh, okay, so I have been doing it right. I always type in 1025 because I'm just like, I think that's the right number. I don't remember. Cool. So I have been correct in my randomizing.
Let's see.
I'm going to move this here. Move you there. All right.
Ooh, okay. I rolled one that I'm really excited about.
All right.
Your Pokemon for the week is Dialga.
Oh, all right.
Now I need to do a coin flip to determine which form.
Sick.
Origin form Dialga.
Awesome. Let me get my marker.
Oh god, this is so much more complex.
Oh yeah, the origin form Dialga is very complex. You're not getting that level of detail from me. You're just gonna get very rough shapes.
Hey, did you see my Kyurem last week? I understand.
Yeah.
I gave a black outline and a little bit of red.
You're gonna get a very rough shape here. Need to move my mouse drawing hand. I'm about to run off my mouse pad. I wish I had one of those stylus touch boards.
I understand. My problem is I would only be using it for specifically this.
So I always like loved drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would draw all the time when I could. But I know as I got older, I kind of got out of it. So I haven't been as much into drawing as I used to be. So I am much rougher now than I was before. But
Are the legends shiny huntable in Arceus?
No.
They are shiny locked?
They are shiny locked. I think all of them are actually.
But you can shiny hunt them in PLA. I mean in BDSP, and then get the item to transform them in PLA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you could also get them in S&V, so it's fine.
Yes. I was just more like trying to figure out if like shiny origin form actually existed.
It does. You have to get shiny Dialga, which there's an event shiny Dialga you can get. And...
I think I own that one. I think I own.
Undo. I don't know if I don't think I own that one. I know Angela owns that one because I got to kick its butt.
I'm loading up home to see if it's on there because I don't know where else it would be. It would be on Shield, I guess.
Possibly.
but I thought I transferred off a bunch of stuff off of there. Yesterday I went out. I guess it was maybe not yesterday, but sometime this weekend. My roommate and I were talking. He's like, "Hey, I don't know when the last time you like started your Wii U was, but they have a tendency to break if you don't start them within like so long.
I didn't know that.
Like, yeah, it's like they're like, something internally like corrodes if it's not like used.
Huh.
So if you have a Wii U, go turn it on.
Yeah, just public service announcement. Go turn on your Wii U.
So the reason this is getting brought up, I went out to my garage to pull out my Wii U, and in the box with it was 4 DS cases as well for Black, Black 2, Diamond, and Pearl. Okay.
Yeah.
Black and Black 2 are in their respective cases. My Diamond copy is gone. It's just the case. I have no idea where my copy of Diamond is. It's been like years since I played it, so and then in my Pearl case is a copy of Platinum.
Oh.
I don't have a Platinum case. I have Diamond and Pearl cases and Platinum game with no case for it and no copies of the respective games. So
Well, Carter, it sounds like you got some hunting to do.
well, so I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I can go load up my copies of Black and Black 2 to see if there's anything on them, but I don't think there's going to be. I'm pretty sure I transferred everything off of them. I'm pretty sure I transferred everything off of them already, so are we locking it in?
Yes, I'm just.
Do you want me to send it? Or do you want to look it up?
You could send it to me. I don't think I'm very close. Ah, it's not that one. Oh, I missed the neck thing and the tail, but I
didn't know he had knee swords.
So I remembered that the origin forms are very, very close to like Arceus.
Yes.
And I knew there was a level of detail I was not going to get close to.
It's like a blue giraffe.
Yeah. I remembered the neck was long. I remembered that the toes were some of the feet were pointed.
Yep, the pointy toes.
I knew that there was something around the waist, but I just didn't know how to draw it in a 2D form like this without it being weird.
To be fair, I knew about the big tail. I forgot about the thing around the waist.
I knew the waist thing because, like I said, Arceus. So.
Oh, gotcha. True.
But I didn't know how to portray it, so I'm just like, forget about it. I won't worry about it.
Definitely forgot about the knee swords.
Yeah, I did not know about the knee swords. And I forgot.
I don't know if they're actually supposed to be, but knee swords is definitely
it's knee swords. And then like I kind of knew that there was a cannon in the neck, but again, I'm just like, I'm just gonna draw the neck long. I don't remember exactly what it looks like, and I'm not gonna sit here and fight with it. Dial up dragon origin form.
Love it. Very, very good. Did you ever send me the one from last week that I did?
Yes, I thought I did.
I don't. If you did,
I think I copied it and then I posted it in our group with Ro.
I'll have to go look then because I like to save all of mine as well, and I don't remember saving it last week. But I was also having like hella computer issues when we ended. So
yeah,
Carl, we talk a lot.
Yes, we do.
There's last week's thumbnail. There it is. Okay, I found it.
We gotta. To be fair, a lot of that is me just posting into the void because I need a place to write down my notes at work, and that is the easiest place for me to write down my notes at work.
I literally created a server that's just me in it.
Yeah,
for that reason.
it's easier when I have people I know are talking to me because otherwise I won't hit enter and then I'll just.
Also fair.
But yeah, we covered NAIC teams to expect. We didn't talk about the Trainers Cup finale. Let me go find it. I don't remember. I know the person who won vaguely. Was it Taysock Row? They
Sure.
were top 4 last year, had a top 64 Worlds 23. They were the Korean League Season 1 champion in 2020, had a Korean national top 4. Played a Calyrex Ice Miraidon team, which I think, if I remember watching that whole stream, Calyrex Ice Miraidon was like one of the most popular teams there. Which is really weird. And they ended up coming up from losers finals to go.
Oh, that's really cool.
So they got
really
got
awesome.
into losers bracket pretty early on, and then came up through losers finals to win it all, which is really cool. Really good accomplishment for them. And then the Taiwan Master Ball League was also this weekend. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce this name. But Chi Hung, I think, is the best way I can pronounce. My whiteness can pronounce it. Taiwan, they were Premier Ball League champion this year. Had a top 8 in 2024 for the Taiwan Championships. They had a huge bracket, top 32 bracket, and I think they were the 3 seed. Yeah, they were the 3 seed. So that's cool. What else? There's a mystery gift Porygon right now.
Yes, I did see that today, maybe?
It ends the 9th. So hopefully you got it, because it's probably over by now. It was going on this weekend. We're getting Wolfey's.
Oh,
we're getting Wolfey's Incineroar this week for NAIC. Super duper cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else other than NAIC that was going on this weekend. That wasn't the VR challenge. I would talk more about the VR challenge. The problem is there's not really a whole lot more to talk about.
I might be going to play a CEDH tournament this weekend.
Oh.
Which, granted, I only have like one commander deck put together still. It is, when I built it, very budget.
Yeah.
And so I've gone through and like last time I played F&M, I finished in like final pod with it, like completely untouched for like 2 years. So talking to the guys and everything afterwards, they're like, yeah, we can completely upgrade this deck and it probably wouldn't be that expensive because it's mono white, which like white's not very good in commander.
Mm-hmm.
So let alone being mono white. So I spent the day yesterday at work just going through and like updating it, and of the 100 cards, I think I changed 33 of them, and the grand total to upgrade everything is like $70.
Jeez. All right.
So I need to get a hold of the shop and see what they have before I try to order everything, and if not, I doubt if I order it all, it's gonna get here in time if I'm not like ordering it yesterday. So
yeah.
So we might have to make some minor revisions.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. A lot of the like higher power stuff I'm going to be able to pick up. Like Grand Abolisher, Voice of Victory. Just stuff that like I should be playing and I just am not because I don't own a copy.
Yeah.
It's like the white staples, because like I'm not playing like Swords or Path. Like that's how budget this deck was.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah.
It is mono white enchantments, and I refused to buy a Daybreak Cornet because it was $2.50.
All right. Start calling you Scrooge McDuck over there.
Like, dude, I the entire deck was like maybe like $70 when I built it, and most of that was my basic lands because I wanted the fancy Theros ones.
Of course you did.
I think I think like $70 of the budget like was my budget for it, and I spent most of that in um my basic lands and my soul ring because it's the GP promo soul ring.
Nice.
So that's my plan for possibly next weekend. I'm gonna try to go. It's down in Springfield, so
Is it what store is that?
I have no idea. Drew was talking about it. He's like, "Hey, there's one at the end of the month. Valhalla's Gate is hosting one, and like top prize is like a Mox Diamond or something."
Eh.
I'm like, I mean, hell, it's a Mox Diamond. The problem is I work overnight the night before,
Yeah.
so
You'd be
trying
no
to
sleep going in, and
yeah.
also I'm not a fan of Valhalla's Gate. I try not to use business name.
I understand. I have no problems with them. I like Jeremy. But oh, sorry. First place is a Taiga. Fourth is a Time Spiral with a couple other things in like second and third. So, which not gonna lie, kind of won a Time Spiral.
That'd be
So,
nice. But where's the one in Springfield? That was the main question. See if it's one of my old stomping grounds.
5-Color Gaming.
That's a new one. I don't know that one.
I don't know it either. I don't know Springfield. So
Let's say there was a couple stores that I would frequent down there for F&M and whatnot back in the day, but I don't know that one. That's a new one.
Yeah, it is downtown Springfield. So
oh yeah, that's definitely new then because there was no shops downtown when I was playing still. So
all right, I think we're calling it.
yeah, that sounds about it. I'll be traveling Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and then I should be back for next week's episode with Ro. And we'll
good luck, Bub. I really hope you do well.
We'll talk about my NAIC if I get back in time. It all depends. We'll have to see.
Yeah, just day 2.
If I day 2, I still should be back even if I day 2. It's
day 3.
It's the championship Sunday is when the issues of room and board and all that stuff start to come up.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go find some place to crash. I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure we have to check out Saturday morning.
Awesome.
So
you wanna get us out of here, Carl?
Yeah. So if you would like to catch more episodes, go check the description down below. There's links to all the podcasts, links down there for our Twitter /X/Blue Sky, whatever you want to call it, whatever social media mumbo jumbo you want to go and find us on. It's probably down there somewhere. I haven't purged it all yet, but we don't post on the X side anymore. So, what else? You can come join the Discord where everyone's talking about missing out on Switch 2s. But I wish I could just airmail them to everybody because my Walmart has oodles of them.
Or just buy them all.
If I had money,
just go in and buy 2 a day.
If I was just made of money, I would. If everybody could just Venmo me the money for it, I'd go buy them.
I debated going and buying one, and then I realized I probably need to buy a mattress instead.
I will say mattresses are not cheap. I like mine though. I got a nice one. Did you upgrade in size, or did you just buy a new mattress for the same frame?
I really wanted to, but we currently have a queen. I really wanted to go to a king, but the difference in price, plus I would have to buy a new bed frame, meant it was like.
Is your bed frame not one of the old style adjustments? No. Oh, that sucks.
No. The difference would have been like $400 for a mattress versus like $1,400 or $1,500 for a king plus new bed frame.
Yeah.
I'm like, as much as I would really like that, I don't think it would fit in our room is also fairly small with everything else we already have in it too. Mm-hmm. So it'll be fine.
I will say we upgraded 2.5 years ago to a king size and it's perfect. But yeah, Discord, everybody's talking about Switch 2s. We got Dojo going on, which my opponent hasn't reached out to me, and I don't know if they're going to reach out to me, so I don't know if I'll have time to play them before I leave. But hopefully, if my opponent's out there listening, reply, please. What else? Catch us on all of your podcast stations, Spotify, we're on YouTube, obviously. Which there's a podcast style for YouTube too. I didn't know that. That was a new one. And then Apple Podcasts, whatever, wherever you can find us. We're on a bunch of different places now because Spotify sends it everywhere. But yeah, that's all I got. If you're going to NAIC, come find me. I will be there, excited. But yeah, bye bye.